thanks for tuning in. It is going to be a really cold and rainy weekend this weekend, and I'm supposed to be playing BB Wars for Milsim West, which, if you aren't familiar with Milsim West, when you go to those games, you have to take everything that you're going to need with you for the entire weekend. You have to be able to fit it all in a rucksack, and you have to carry it all into the field with you and you basically build a shelter, dig a hole, whatever you need to do to set up your place for the weekend. Sometimes you'll be moving each night, just like it is in the military. So, since we're going to be camping and in the elements for the entire 40 hours, prepping for it is a little more intense than just a regular game where you know that you get to go home to a hotel or whatever at the end of the day. So, I'm going to give you guys some tips and tricks if you are thinking about going to a Milsim West game, or if you just really like camping, or anything, if you're going to be out in the elements for a long period of time. Here's some things that I've found that have really helped me out, so I'm going to share them with all of you. So, first off, for camping, I like having a mat to sleep on. It helps keep out a lot of the cold from coming up through the bottom of your sleep system. And it provides a little cushion as well. I've also got a sleep system in here. This has my bivvy, which is kind of like a waterproof layer that your sleeping bag goes inside. And then I also have my sleeping bag in here. This is a compression sack that I'll be able to just stick into my ruck. Oh, by the way, my ruck, for those of you that are wondering, it's a pretty nice one. I really like this. This is from Tactical Tailor. It's called the Raider. It's got lots of pockets to compartmentalize everything. We've got a pocket on the top. In this pocket, this is where I generally like to put things that I'm going to need really quickly, like headlamps, flashlights, maybe a snack or two, anything that I'm going to need to access really quickly, and I don't want to have to go digging through my bag. I put that in the top. Then, when you open it, there's tons of compartments in here. So on each side, as you can see, there's compartments. You can stick stuff down in these, and then zippers on the inside, on each side, so you can put stuff in each of these compartments. I like this because it helps me stay a little more organized. There's also a big pouch here, so this ruck is very nice. At least I think so. Oh, I see a little house game boys over there. I can only tell because I see a Canadian flag thing and an admin. So anyway, hi. To go along with that, since it's going to be so wet and cold this weekend, I've put everything in Ziploc bags. Now this is twofold. One, this helps keep everything dry, which is going to be of utmost importance. It's going to be freezing temperatures along with rain for at least 24 hours, so you definitely are going to want warm stuff to change into once you get into your shelter. So I've got fleece. I've got actually 2 pairs of fleece, long underwear and thermal. This is just in case one of them happens to get wet, so that way I always know that I have a backup one. Now, the other reason that I like putting stuff in these Ziploc bags is it essentially vacuum seals it, and it makes everything much more compact and easier to pack. So I've got my 2 fleece to keep me warm. Now, I'll only wear those fleece at night when I'm inside of my bag. You definitely don't want to wear your fleece when you're outside and you're doing a lot of activity. So the only time that I want to wear it, because I always want it to be warm, is going to be inside my sleeping bag. Definitely don't wear it once you get out of your sleeping bag and you're putting all of your gear on, because then you will be warm for a little bit, then you'll start sweating, and then you'll be extra freezing later on. And all your clothes will be wet. Alright. Socks. Definitely do not want to forget socks. As you can see, I packed like 10 pairs of socks. Wool socks are the best. I have the smart wool socks. that will help keep your feet very warm, as well as they're moisture wicking, so if they do start to sweat, they'll go away. In addition to all of my wool socks, I also have a pair of waterproof socks. These are called sealskins. There are several different brands of waterproof socks, but these are the ones I have. They are definitely a good investment. They're a little costly at first. I believe they're like $30 or $40, but they keep your feet dry. Now, if you're walking through like water and your feet are in water for a long time, obviously water is going to seep through these eventually, but it helps keep the water out for a decent period of time to help keep your feet nice and dry. Plus, they dry out really quick when they do get wet. So these are nice to have around because keeping your feet dry and warm is totally key. Moving on, I've got another bag with some backup gloves. I've got a balaclava in here to cover my entire face because it'll be really cold at night. I've got extra thick gloves in here, along with my regular gloves, again, zipped up so they stay all nice and dry. Speaking of staying dry, you are also in this are gaiters. I'm going to get them out and show them to you because these are also very important. You definitely want to get a pair of gaiters if you're going to be in a wet environment for any long period of time. These go through, I'll just show you really quick. Put them on your foot, and then, obviously I'm going to be wearing not tights, so this will be a lot easier, and I'm going to be wearing boots. And you'll cinch them, you'll put this through and you'll cinch them down. And so this will keep the entire bottom of your foot dry, as well as keeping any water from going into the top of your shoe, which is how most people's feet actually end up getting wet, as the water seeps in through the top of their shoe and down in. Because I do have Gore-Tex boots, which are also a definite must for any type of rainy, cold camping, especially rainy. It's going to keep the water, helps keep the water out. Any avenues that you can have to keeping water off of your body means you're going to be much more likely to be successful. Now, the reason that I'm emphasizing so much staying dry and staying warm is because every time we have events like these where it rains, people are always unprepared. They think that, it's not going to be that bad. I can make it for one night. And then about 2 a.m., they're complaining about thinking that they have hypothermia or pre-hypothermic. I've heard that one a lot. So it does not hurt for these events where you know you're going to have to deal with a lot of elements. It's definitely better to be over-prepared. Your morale will be much higher, and therefore you'll be able to do a lot more, and you'll probably be winning. And as a female, I just like to rub it in boys' faces when they can't hack it, and I can. Sorry if that offends you. Sort of, not really. Anyway, back to boots and staying warm and dry. So once your boots get wet, and they will get wet, it's supposed to rain for about 24 hours straight at this up. I have packed a bunch of newspaper. If you were following my Instagram story, you saw a little bit about this. And the newspaper, what you do with it, once you take your boots off, and you will only take your boots off, obviously, when you are ready to get in your sleeping bag and you are on your sleep cycle for the night. So once you take your boots off, you will take some newspaper, wad it up, stick it inside your boots, fill your boots with the wadded up newspaper. The newspaper will soak up all of the moisture that's in your boots, and then when you put your boots on in the morning, your boots will be almost completely dry again. So, got newspaper in my bag to keep the newspaper dry because I know it's going to get rained on. Other items I've got with me, this is just a essentials bag. I'm going to be adding a little more to it. You're definitely going to need these. This is what I use, hot hands. They're 10 hours of heat, so you can use them. They also have foot inserts that you can get. All kinds of different things. I am going to get tons and tons and tons of these. They're really cheap. They last for 10 hours, so they keep you warm. I like to have a bunch of them, put them in my pockets. I like to put them in my sleeping bag, at the foot of my sleeping bag. Anywhere that you have anything that's going to be exposed, these hot hands work really well. So I'm going to put those in there. I've also got other things that you'll probably need during a game, like a little bag of Kleenex, some face wipes, and Tylenol. Everybody always ends up getting headaches or, you know, whatever else. Again, I'll also be putting like my toothbrush. I've got some toothpaste in there. So this will be like my essentials hygiene bag, basically. In this bag, I've packed all of my food, which will be going, a lot of my food will be in my backpack. And some of you did see this. This is also a tip that I posted on Instagram. These Campbell's, these ready meals, Prego also makes them. These are the most handy thing and the most tasty thing that I've seen for games like this. They're so easy to use. They're intended to be put in the microwave, but they're pre-cooked meals, so you can actually eat them cold. If you need to eat them cold, if you can't get a fire going, you can do that. But what you can do is, oh, I don't have my thing. So instead of a jet boil, we have like this old school little stovetop system. And so we just put a little canister on top of there. You light it, fill it with water, and I just wad this up, stick this inside my cup, let it boil. It heats the whole inside of this. You take it out, mush it around, and it's ready to eat. And it's pretty good. You can eat just straight out of the container, so you don't have to worry about extra mess. I really like these. They taste a lot better than MREs, which is why I use them. Really the only upside of MREs is that you don't need a flame, and that's the only reason that I ever buy MREs. But as everybody knows, they're not too great. I've also got tuna packets in here. These are super handy for me, at least in the field, because this is a really easy way to eat lunch. You can just eat one of these tuna packets. You get lots of protein, so it'll give you energy. And then I've got an energy bar and also some little chocolates. It's nice to have a little bit of sugar to give you a pick-me-up, because these games you really don't get much sleep, probably about 2 to 3 hours a night, if that. And so it's good to have some candy or some sugar, caffeine, anything to pick you up when you're really dragging. And I've got one more Ziploc bag. This has my Russian flag in it, and then I also packed extra Ziploc bags. So that way if I find anything else that I need to keep dry, or if I have a friend that needs to keep something dry that was underprepared, I can help out. So, got extra bags. I'm also packing lots of extra trash bags. That way you can, I don't think I have them over here. But with the extra trash bags, you can cover all of your gear. For instance, I can use 2 trash bags and cover this, my ruck, so that way I don't have to worry about my ruck getting completely soaking wet. Now, of course, this is made to be out in the elements, so it can get wet. It can be in the elements, but I just like my stuff to be dry. It's a lot, your life sucks a lot less when your gear is not soaking wet and cold. Another very important thing is an e-tool. So like I said, at Milsim West Games, you are going to have to be building your shelter. Oops. You're going to have to be building a shelter, and so these are very handy. When we build our shelter, you want your shelter to be high and for there to be runoff, because obviously there's going to be lots of rain. And so you use your e-tool to dig out a trench around where you're going to be sleeping. Ooh. Can I close this now? Oh, now I broke it. You'll use your e-tool to dig out a trench around where you're going to be sleeping, and then that way the water runs off, it runs down into the trench, and then of course you're going to have an out section for the water. So that way the water runs away from you, which you want to have as well. So e-tools are definitely very, very handy for any situation where you're going to be outside and having to build your own shelter. Let's see. I'll go through some of, one more thing. This is a pretty handy little thing. I got this in a Spec Ops Global unboxing, but it's essentially a tactical notebook carrier. I can put all kinds of information in here if I so choose that will keep any papers or any sensitive information that I have dry. As well as if I need a notebook, I have this Write in the Rain notebook. These are nice because if you do need a notebook, these you can get completely wet. You can even write on these underwater. So these Write in the Rain notebooks are perfect. And then on the back of this, there is a section for a map. I have a compass in there. You do have to do a decent amount of land navigation at Milsim West Games, and so I've got my compass in there for myself. And all of that will go in. This is my assault bag, basically. This is from LBX. It's called the, something mini gear pack?
Minimalist gear pack.
Minimalist gear pack. Thank you, Jet. Minimalist gear pack. This is what I'm going to be wearing on my back. And inside, it's got space for, in this pocket, I've got my Source hydration bladder, so that will have all of my water. Inside, I've got all the essentials that I need. Now, I'll obviously modify this. This is just to get out into the field, but I've got my Gerber. Always need to have that on you. Having a multi-tool on you is essential. So I will be carrying my Gerber. And then in here, I've got the grenades and smokes that I'm going to be using this weekend, again in a plastic bag, because I don't want them to get all wet. That would suck, because then they wouldn't work. And in this bag, I've also got extra batteries that I might need, which is also handy because you never know the power level of our flashlights. So that's going to be on the back. In order to carry everything, I've got a Jaeger chest rig, so this is what I will be wearing, along with the identifier armband. Obviously, if you haven't noticed yet, I'm going to be going Russian, and so the identifier armband can be worn on the back. This is so you don't get friendly fired, or it can be worn around your arm, several different locations, but those are the most common, arm and on your back. I will also, my Milsim West tourniquet, definitely need that. That's how I get healed in the game. Works just like a real almost like a real tourniquet. Put it around, cinch it up, you're back in the game. Need a deadlight because for night games, there we go. For night games, if I do get hit, I don't want to get overshot, or if I'm just walking back, whatever. This is my deadlight so I don't get overshot, which I can mount onto my vest or backpack. There we go. Speed loader. Definitely need that. Oh, I should empty the BBs out. I'll do that because for Milsim West games, you are issued BBs. You do not bring your own BBs. So this also follows this is sticking to a military simulation. Obviously, in a real war zone, you wouldn't have unlimited ammo. And so you get resupplied throughout the event. And so that is why you need to have a speed loader always on you, of course. You get issued bags. They're 500. You get about 500 BBs, and those are issued to you. and you never know when you're going to get resupplied, so you have to be very cognizant of how much ammo you have, how much you have left, so that way you don't, you know, run out of ammo, because that would be really embarrassing. For iPro, I'm going to be wearing, these are my absolute favorite iPro. I have Smith Optics, and these are my favorite iPros because they're so light, so lightweight. It also comes with a tinted lens, and I do have a defogging wipe in there as well. Definitely going to need that because it's going to be raining. Oh, I saw a super chat. Thank you. Who super chatted, Jet?
That was from Quickscope56. They said, "Hi Leah, love you and Jet so much. Tell him I said hi." Hi Quickscope.
Hi Quickscope. Thank you so much. Appreciate the super chat. You number one. This is one more item that I forgot to show you. This is a military light. This is also something that I got in my Spec Ops Global box. I'll bring it closer so you can see it. This is something that I'm going to be hanging inside of our tent because we can have a light, or if we need to switch it to green, we've got a green light, or if you need to switch it to red, you can have a red light, or if you need to do Morse code, which I don't know, you can do it really easily this way. And I'm really excited about this because this will be something that we'll be able to mount super easily inside of our tent. Paracord. That's one more thing that you're going to need, which is in Jet's bag, I believe. He is going to be my battle buddy for the weekend, and so we combine our sources and we'll be building a shelter together. You will definitely need tarps for shelter building. And so that's what this tarp is for. I will have one tarp. This is an 11 by 15 foot tarp. He also has the other one, and so we'll be working together to build a shelter, which I will be videoing or vlogging. You guys voted on what you wanted to see from this weekend's event, and all of you said a vlog plus gameplay, so I'm going to show you a little shelter building after the event, so you'll get to see us build our shelter. So I'll be packing this. This is brand new. Still has cardboard in it, I think.
You know the exact name of that light? Everyone wants to know the name and stuff.
So this light is called a thick lampa. Let's bring it over here. Oh, alien representative. Hello. Thank you for the super chat. So this is what the light looks like for all of you that wanted to know or see what it says. This is what it's like up close because, yeah, super handy. It's powered on 2 C-cell batteries. So tarps are definitely going to come in handy. You need one, having one above you and one below you, so you can basically be in kind of like a burrito. And we'll have one above us, and we'll be, depending on where we are, I'll show you how we're going to set up. But you'll need your tarps and lots of paracord. This is going to keep out all of the water, so hopefully our stuff will stay dry, and we can have a little cocoon in there. I do have a few Mountain House meals just in case I need them. These are okay. A lot of other people like them, but I think they're just okay. I don't like having to wait, like, you have to boil the water, and then after you make this, you have to wait another, like, 10 or 15 minutes before it's edible. And you really don't have that much time to eat, usually. Like, every time I've eaten out of these, I've noticed that as soon as I pour the water in and I'm waiting, we get attacked. And then by the time you get back to your food, it's all cold. Oh, headlamp. Definitely going to need that for nighttime. This is an Evic headlamp. However, I would like to have, what's more handy is you need a headlamp that also has a red light on it. At Milsim West games, they do follow light discipline rules, which means you can't have any lights for the most part, because you don't want to give your position away. So that means no fires and no lights. You can use red lights or maybe like a blue light, something that's very, very dim occasionally, but they don't like you to be showing a lot of light. You'll still need it though for whenever you're rummaging around inside your bag, whatever else. It really sucks to not have a headlamp. And then lastly, my uniform and my gats. So since it's going to be so cold, I know I've said that a bunch of times, I'm going to be wearing a Gorka. This is an autumn Gorka. These are quite warm. They're very heavy. So this will help keep me warm, along with I'll be wearing tights and a long sleeve shirt underneath this. So hopefully that will keep me nice and warm while I'm there. And for my gats, I've got my trusty E&L AKS 74U that I will be taking with me. This baby has gotten through several very miserable conditions and performed well at Rostov 2 years ago. This gun was in the pouring rain for 12 hours straight, still performs like a champ. So this is my baby. It's been upgraded by Mad Hatter Armory and also teched by Umbrella Armory, so it's shooting really well. And I love it because for such a short barrel, it shoots really, really far. All right, that wraps up this staying warm and dry episode. Talking about what I'm taking to Milsim West. If you guys have any questions, I can answer some questions really quick. That is the whole purpose of going live, right? So if you want to throw out some questions, I'll try to answer them.
One question is, where can you get Russian camouflage?
Where can you get Russian camouflage? There are several retailers now that are carrying Russian camouflage that are here in the US. Amped Airsoft is one of them that carries Russian gear. Lancer Tactical also distributes some Russian gear, but it's obviously knockoff Russian gear, so you'll get shamed if you try to. You'll get shamed by the super nerds. Another good place to buy it is Gray Shop. That's where a lot of people get their stuff. That is overseas though, so you do have to wait. There is a lot of wait time on that. But Gray Shop is where I got most of my Russian camo. I would also advise joining, there is a group on Facebook called Rushing Russians General Interest Group, and there's always people in that group selling gear and things, and it's all, for the most part, it's usually legit Russian gear, and so that's a good place to source a lot of stuff too.
Robert Carrillo says, hi Jen Leah in the super chat.
Hi Robert Carrillo, thank you for the super chat. That's so nice of you.
This question came up twice about how much weight do you think all this stuff is?
How much weight is this? So it's going to be a lot heavier than normal. I would say my ruck is normally around 35 pounds when it's fully loaded, 35 to 40. It'll probably be a little heavier this time just because I'm bringing a little bit of extra stuff. Since it's going to be so cold and so rainy, I'm definitely bringing extra clothes and socks and things. So I would guess that it'll be closer to around 40 to 45 pounds. I'm hoping though that we don't have to ruck it super far. We'll see.
Here's a good question. How do you find out the complete list of what you need at a Milsim event?
How do you find out the complete list of what you need? That is a great question. And for this, I always use, when I'm going through and I'm trying to pack everything, Milsim West has a tax op, and in their tax op, they have a packing list. And in the packing list, it shows everything that you need. They have a complete checklist, and it's 2 columns. And so I advise going onto Google and just look Milsim West tax op, and you should be able to find the packing list, or search Milsim West packing list. They have the absolute most comprehensive list that I've seen out there, so I definitely recommend finding it that way and using their checklist, because if you follow their checklist exactly, you should not have any problems. Let's take one more question. Is there anything exciting happening?
I guess this one, it's not really related to gear. Delta Airsoft, what do you guys think about Speedsoft being separated from other airsoft play styles such as Milsim?
What do we think about Speedsoft being separated from other play styles? I think the whole Milsim versus Speedsoft thing is dumb. Like, we're all playing airsoft. I do understand though, for if you're going to an event, so what I try to do as a player, because there's not really a, I guess there are a few styles that I prefer, but I think it's really rude to go to an event that centers around realism and show up not doing that. So as if you watch my channel, you probably know that I like to wear everything that Speedsofters wear. I like wearing a dye mask. I like wearing the least amount of gear possible. I totally understand it. I get it. It's fun. But if you're going to be going to an event that is based around either realism or imitating something, then it's kind of a dick move to show up not following the rules, or to just ask if you can have special privilege just because you don't like their outfits. That's kind of silly, right? Like, I wouldn't go to a Speedsoft event in all Milsim gear and be like, hey guys, I'm way better than you. It's just silly. I do see why they are separated at times, because obviously the two play styles don't mesh all the time, but they don't have to be. I mean, for pickup games or for casual games or anything like that, it doesn't really matter. Both play styles have huge pros and huge cons, and it really all just depends. But I think separating them always is silly. I don't know if that answers it. Hopefully it does. I don't know. Okay, so I need to pack all my stuff now because we're leaving early in the morning, so that way we can get there at a decent time. I'm going to stop and pick up a few more of those hot hand warmer things and have everything up and ready to go. Stay tuned to my YouTube, guys, if you want to see more from this and see how we build our shelter, or if you want to see any gameplay from this event. Whenever it's not raining, I'll try to live stream or make posts on the community page, so make sure you're following, and I'll keep you updated on how this weekend goes. Okay guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate all of you watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!